Good evening, everybody, and today I'm going to explain to you the consequences of climate change on our world, both regionally and globally. So, we're going to start off with the global impact of climate change on our world. Climate change affects many parts of our world, from North America to Russia to India and Africa. So, quite literally, our entire world, there is not a corner of it that is not affected, even our north and south poles. Climate changes are causing more natural disasters to occur, causing more damage and death than ever before. And this is a pretty self-explanatory one as well. As we've seen over the years, we've seen more and more hurricanes, more and more landslides, wildfires, depending on where we live, more droughts. So we've seen an increase because of climate change in these natural disasters that are causing these issues. And as well, increases in natural disasters are causing the seasons in which they occur to become more erratic as well. So a perfect example of this that we're going to use later on is India being with their landslides and their monsoon seasons. So one global impact that is happening in our world is the carbon dioxide levels that are increasing in our air. Carbon dioxide emissions have skyrocketed in the last 100 years to unprecedented levels in our world. As you can see here with this graph, that is the annual CO2 emissions from 1750 all the way up to 2021. Right here, right around when the Industrial Revolution starts to kind of pick up, you see it going up. And then in the 1950s, you see it just basically almost go close to a 90-degree angle. Now, one thing that is important to know is that in the past year, 5 years or so, they have seen a little bit of a decrease, but then that changed this past year where it has started to go up again. And the figures show that this doesn't look like it's going to come down anytime soon. Carbon dioxide emissions are causing increases in global temperature and greenhouse gases becoming trapped. So carbon dioxide plays a big role in our greenhouse gases and what allows the fossil fuels and these greenhouse gases to actually get out of here. Less trees in our world from deforestation only compounds this issue in carbon dioxide emissions. A big factor in what limits the amount of carbon dioxide that is in our air is our trees. And because deforestation and planning and making all these cities and these towns for more people that are being born on our earth is limiting the amount of trees that can actually help with this. There's actually been studies out there that show that because of the decrease in trees, there's also a decrease in the amount of oxygen that we as humans get to breathe, which of course is not a good thing because we as humans breathe oxygen. Another big one is soil quality decreases. Soil quality decreases have led to overall decreases in food production worldwide. Decreases in global food production have led to larger numbers of people starving due to lack of food, and soil quality decreases are making it harder for plants to grow in areas where there have been grasslands, forests, and other lush vegetation. So the picture I use is a perfect example. This is actually what was a mustard field at one point, but as you can see, the grass around it is not as green. It's looking more yellow, which means it's not getting the hydration. The soil quality itself isn't that great, and this is all factoring into climate change. And this in particular, soil quality, is because, again, the increase in population for us as humans means there's an increase in demand for food. The issue with that, of course, is while yes, we can produce the food, the soil is not getting the time it needs to actually recoup its quality that allows these plants to grow, that allows these trees to grow, that allows this food that we consume as human beings. Let's not even talk about wild animals to grow anymore. Now we're going to go to the regional impact of climate change on our world. Regional impacts are the pieces that make up the global issues we are facing today in our Earth's climate changes. Each region is facing different issues that are compounding on top of one another to cause larger issues on a global scale. Regional impacts are skyrocketing costs of relief funds needed to help the affected zones. So these three facts are the broad terms that I'm using. So basically, regional issues and regional climate change actually is what you could say is the larger picture of the global impacts we just went over. each region, because of this, it compounds on top of one another. So North America, for example, in the U.S., where we have tons of natural disasters that are occurring more and more, whether it's hurricanes, whether it's droughts, whether it's wildfires, um, is affecting not just the U.S., but it's affecting Canada. It's affecting Mexico. It's affecting other places around us, and it's just piling on top of each other. And because of this, because of these many natural disasters that happens in these regions, relief funds that we as the world tend to offer these countries are becoming more and more and more and more, and it's becoming harder and harder to sustain this. As I stated before, one of the first one is India's landslide problem. Landslides and the monsoon seasons are India's biggest contributor to natural disasters and occurrences. I think it's close to about 12% last year. It's probably up from there to about 13, maybe 14% at this point. Due to human interaction and land development, the ground in India is less stable and erodes quicker. This is kind of related to what we just talked about with soil quality. Because India is such a highly dense population of people, they do build more and more and more. And the issue with this is that you are destroying, it, like in these pictures, trees that help ground the soil, make it more firm and more easy to retain water. And when you get rid of these, you have issues like these pictures show, where the land just comes down, wipes away, for example, houses, communities, people die in these, and it's only getting worse. Changes in climate due to climate change have made monsoon seasons harder to predict due to their increasing erratic changes when they happen. So it used to be quite easy to predict when a monsoon season was going to come. It was during a set season. But because of the changes in our climate, because of these greenhouse gases, because of, CO2 emissions, because of everything, they're becoming more erratic, and they're happening during seasons that they shouldn't normally happen during. And then we're going to go with America, which I just talked about a little bit about. So America's increasing cost of disaster funds. Climate change in the U.S. has seen a drastic increase in over the last 40 years that has jumped the amount of money spent on disaster relief funds along in the hundreds of billions of dollars. I think last year we spent close to, I think it was close to $500 billion, or right abouts. Increases in spending on disaster relief funds is causing decreases in overall spending by consumers in the regional market, leading to higher amounts of people in poverty. So, because we are having to spend more money on these natural disasters and the relief funds that go to these places, like the southern coast, with Florida and Louisiana and the hurricanes that happen, or the wildfires that have been happening up in California, or in Nevada and Texas and all these other places. That money goes away from the consumers, and because some of these places don't get rebuilt, they're not going out and buying, which is lowering the overall market GDP of our country. Costs and the number of natural disasters expected to occur in the coming years are projected to be more than even 2022 currently, and there's no signs that the number is trending downwards anytime soon due to climate change effects in the region. So as I just stated, this is 2022 alone, right here. Look at it. We've got the North Central hailstorms, the Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Fiona, the Western wildfires, southern and central severe weathers, the drought and heat waves. And these aren't slowing down. These are getting more and more and more. And the issue that we're seeing with this is that if we don't fix these issues anytime soon, these are going to get to a point where we're going to see countries possibly collapse, like the U.S., like the Middle East, where they already have issues with their agriculture because of the arid climate they live in. Like Russia, which is a large country that sustains many people. Like China, where, they already have things in effect where you can only have one kid there. Now compound that with the fact that if we don't have enough food to feed the people they already are creating over there through births, it's going to make it worse. And so these are just some of the issues that we're facing today on a global and regional scale. I hope this helped you today, and I hope you have a good day.